Hey folks, today I'm going to comment a replay that's just come out between Benson and ToD. As you may know, ToD recently retired, but he's coming back just for World Cyber Games. So this is the finals of World Cyber Games France. This is the first match between ToD and Benson, and as you can see, or as you probably know, ToD is a human, the pink human here, and Benson is this blue elf. He's less known, but is still a very good player. And as you can see, it's close positions on Turtle Rock, which is arguably advantageous for the human, just because there's the possibility to rush militia over early and tower rush, and when the militia are over, they don't immediately run out they don't immediately time out, go back to peasants. And so we're likely to see a lot of early aggression in this game. And as you can see, ToD's just scouting this now. Benson's going for a Warden, which is quite interesting, because what it's going to mean is Wardens... ToD is very famous for playing the Archmage very well. And so Warden's a fairly good choice against him, because Warden does so much damage to an intelligence hero like the Archmage. But the problem is that the Warden needs to be level 3 really to be very effective, and it's unlikely that ToD's gonna give him the time to level him that far, and so this may actually work against him in a sense. As you can see, ToD just brought over a footman as well, but immediately he's bringing it back because he sees that Benson's putting up a second ancient of war for defense. This is a very sensible move, just because it means that it's a lot harder to tower rush, and so instead ToD goes for creeping to start off with at least. And Benson's going to come in, but you'll notice ToD's killed the main turtle first, getting the experience before Benson can come in and steal it with a Shadow Strike. So instead he Shadow Strikes the Archmage. And this is actually a very effective tactic. All you have to do is just Shadow Strike and right click the Archmage a couple times, and as long as you can avoid damage on your Warden, you can actually take down the Archmage before it hits level 2. And if you're at that stage, then you can start really putting on some pressure, or you can just take advantage and start leveling, or whatever you really like, because you'll really have such good control. And that seems to be what Benson's going for now. He's going for harassing rather than trying to creep, which is, yeah, it could be better for him to creep, just because a level 3 or 5 Warden is just so powerful against an Archmage. But anyways, Benson doesn't manage to steal this either warrior, and ToD's backed his Archmage into this little corner here, which seems odd. And and what you can see is he's actually been blocked by the Warden now, who's gone invisible, and ToD without dust is now stuck there. And ToD is then going to go and surround the Archmage, or to surround the Warden. Ooh, Benson tried to lure the footman away, but it seems he couldn't get that far, and ToD, realizing that he could just be shadow struck every once in a while and will eventually be killed, is being forced to build an arcane vault right here, which is very quick thinking on his side. And actually the Warden doesn't have quite enough mana to hit him again, and I think he will actually be able to get he's going for the healing, that's why he's building this arcane vault, and I think he will actually be able to get the healing, but Benson might be able to cancel the healing. It's hard to say what's going to happen here, folks. ToD's bringing out some militia as well, just to harass, but since the archers can go invisible, it's hard to see what's going to happen here. ToD healing up, yes, and this is just sort of like a stalling technique. It's hard to say who it's good for even. They both have town portals, but neither really wants to waste it. And as you can see, Benson's built a Hunter's Hall. He's actually hidden it up here, which is quite nice, because it's always important to hide as much as you can from your opponent. And since the armies are all stuck down in the corner, Benson has free range just to do whatever damage he likes, and ToD hasn't built any towers, so Benson's just going to be able to go and harass, which is a very nice for him, really. And as you can see, Todd's built a blacksmith and is going to start pumping out rifles, which is a very sensible thing to do. Rifles are a soft counter to huntresses, which means that they both do extra damage to each other. Many people think, oh, if my opponent's going hunts, I should definitely be going rifles, and that is true in a sense. But you should mix it up as well. You should definitely be going, as you can see, Todd's tech to tier 2, so you should definitely be putting down a sanctum and going for a mixture of priests and sorcs as well, especially considering that Bensen's still at tier 1 and has built 2 Ancient of Wars. Sorceresses are going to be very effective, and I imagine that we're going to see an Arcane Sanctum any second now. Todd doesn't have quite enough lumber yet, but... Oh, and the Warden goes down because Todd has bought a Naga and bought some dust on it. So finally that happened, and I'm not sure whether Bensen didn't see it and didn't see that he'd been dusted and just died because his Warden was very low health, or he just let it die, because often, even if you do have a town portal, it is better just to let your hero die at level 1, because it's very quick to revive. It costs less to revive than to buy a new town portal, and it comes back with full health and some mana. And so you require less moon rolls, and especially when you're likely to be pushed soon, and moon juice is going to be very important. It is advantageous just to hold on to as much moon juice as possible, and so that might have actually been the right decision. And you'll see that it has now meant that he can fully mana up his Warden, and can put Todd in quite a dangerous position now, because look, he has a massive army and has actually managed to push Todd between the creeps and all his hunts, and it's going to mean that Todd's either going to have to run or he's going to have to TB. I imagine he'll just... Oh, he might actually try and go for this creep, which would be quite bold of him. Bensen's backing off a bit, but I imagine he'll start pushing yep, here he comes back now. And maybe he just wanted the Glaive Thrower up as well to lay the additional damage, and Todd is seeing all this pressure and is deciding to TP out. And what it does mean, though, is that all his army is really low health, and he has to run all the way down here to his Arcane Vault because he hasn't built another one. And Bensen actually knows this, and knows that the healing's going to take a while to kick in. And so he's coming straight over, and with Huntresses with their glaives, they're very good at cancelling human healing. And as you can see, he's putting Todd in quite a bad position now, just because he's cancelled all the healing that Todd had going, and is just tearing apart the rifles. Rifles are decent against hunts, but really, like this sort of army won't do too well against, or the composition that he had won't do too well, just because Bensen had too many hunts and Todd only had a couple rifles. You really need a support to your rifles, and Todd's Archmage now goes down, and so it's actually looking very bad for Todd. Bensen's putting up an Ancient Protector, but Todd's just bringing in some militia to cancel it, but I'm not sure whether or not that's actually going to do anything, because as you can see, there's a lot of Huntresses here, and all Todd has really is a Naga and then some really low hit point casters and a rifle, and no towers in his base whatsoever, and more Ancient Protectors going up now, so this might be the end for Todd unless he can really, really stall for time. What he needs to do is he needs to keep a line here, just of constantly replacing militia, just so his rifles with upgraded range, I assume, yeah, with upgraded range, and his swords can just lay down fire and slow him down until he can get his Archmage back out, put up some water elementals, and build up his rifle count. That's really all he can do at this point, and as you can see, he's managed to micro it very well. He hasn't lost that much, and he's managed to push these back, and there's so much slow on these, both from the Sorcs and the Naga, that the Huntresses, without any sort of dispel, have been rendered quite useless. And Todd's now just cancelling these Ancient Protectors. He knows that he's going to have to take them out at some point, and so he lets them build for as long as is acceptable, and then takes them down. And the Archmage is now out, and Bensen could get us. No, Bensen can't get us around now because ToD will go down there. And Archmage is 3 as well, so you can now pop out a Water Elemental, and that level 2 Water Elementals do so much to Huntresses that ToD might have actually turned this game around now. And with only a level 3 Warden, I'm not sure he can take down. No, he's going for the Archmage, but I don't think he's going to get it. And any second now, I imagine we're going to see GG from Bensen. So a very nice game from ToD. Yes, there's a GG there. He's actually managed to massively turn around that game. Okay, that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed it.